each week, we welcome to our NFG stage one of our highly talented members or special guests with something designed to help you and your business. Our next guest started as a reporter. No, not a journalist, but as a technical specialist in the area of crystal reports. That's crystal reports, not crystal maze. Balancing family life, care of her mum, supporting her children, and so on, she decided to move away from that career and set up a business built on common sense, or rather a common sense, the sense of smell. But this also brought an interest in sleep, leading to setting up a sleep clinic 2 years ago, which runs weekly and helps attendees to get consciously aware of what they're doing unconsciously every night. Sleep wouldn't exist and take up 8 hours a night if we didn't need to do it. So making sure it works for us is oh so important. And after running the sleep clinic for 2 years, here we welcome her to the stage in order to tell us what she has learned. Here we have Yewande Rolph. Good morning, Yewande.
Hello, everybody. It's really nice that I have such a wonderful introduction from Richard. It's really wonderful to know that I'm making an impact, and I'm really passionate about sleep, as he said. Basically, my free, I have different names for it: Sweet Slumber Clinic, Sweet Sleep Slot, Sleep Event. It's every Friday at 1 o'clock. And why did I start it? It's because this guy called Keith Grover, he said, why don't you start a clinic? Any of us can start a clinic. For instance, Rachel could start a copywriting clinic, for instance. So, and I said, okay, I'll start a clinic. And I thought, what shall I do? And I thought I'd try to start a sleep clinic, because I'm finding so many people are talking to me about sleep. I can't sleep properly. I'm having a hard time sleeping. I listen to my clients or people I deal with, and they were complaining about sleep, especially since lockdown. So I thought I'll do something proactive. I'd have a slot. It's going to be half an hour thereabouts. It's got to be free, and it's got to be a space where people can talk about rest, sleep, relaxation. And it's been going since May 2021, nearly 2 years now. And I've learned so much from it, and I wanted to share some of my knowledge with you. But before that, I thought I'd set the scene and tell you a bit about myself. I have a degree in psychology. I have a postgraduate in education. I've done different jobs. My last job was working as a specialist at the TUC 2013, and I gave that up to spend time with my boys because they were at school and I wanted to be with them at 3:30. And I founded my company 2013, 10 years now. It's been wonderful, helping people relax. I've spoken to lots of people, and I've got lots of testimonials, and it's a passion I have to make people feel well. And the reason I want to do it is because sleep is such a big deal. Sleep is massive, it's huge. And people tell me that they can't sleep, or when they do sleep, they can't sleep well. And the thing I've learned so much, I think one of the things I've learned, that sleep is a big deal. And the reason you know it's a big deal is if you haven't had any. If you hadn't had any sleep, you wonder, you're tearing your hair out, not literally, or you feel sad, you feel, it's terrible not having a sleep. And a lot of people who in the sleep arena agree with that you have to sleep, you need sleep, and you need good quality sleep. So I wanted to quickly talk about an Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke said that getting sleep is one of the most vital things you have to do, including enough nutrition and movement. It's up there with getting all the things you need to actually live well. So that's one of the reasons I wanted people to fall in love with sleep. And if people don't have sleep, there's a long-term, it matters so much that if we don't have sleep, we can be double our kind of risk of dying early. We become so much more prone to immune problems like colds, and also there's psychological things as well that we have, which we need to address. We become more depressed, joy goes out of our lives, and it's terrible not having enough sleep. So that's one of the reasons why I started this sleep clinic, to have the conversation of how can we sleep better? What can we do to sleep better? And if we haven't got the power, what can we do to actually rest? So sleep matters. I can go on and on and on and on and on about how sleep matters. So including Dr. Matthew Walker wrote a book, and he said that sleep is so important in at least 212 metabolic processes, for instance. So I can go on and on about how important sleep is. But all I want to do in my sleep clinic is find solutions. How can we sleep better? If we can't sleep, can we rest better? What can we put in place? So why does sleep matter? Because it matters for every single metabolic processes in our bodies. And when we don't sleep, we really suffer. So I want people to be able to sleep better with tips and talks. So there's three major things I've learned through my sleep clinic. First of all, we need to prioritize sleep, like, prioritizing our work, prioritizing nutrition, prioritizing movement, prioritizing good social relationships. Prioritizing sleep is very important. Also, the next thing I've learned is rest. If we can't sleep, we must rest. Rest is so important, and rest comes in lots of different areas. So one of the things I always talk about when people come to my sleep clinic and say they can't sleep is, can you please rest? Deep breathing from the stomach, a physical rest, kind of flopping, and the practice of it is so important, and also getting the support. And sleep is such a big area that I get different experts to talk about different areas of sleep, including hypnosis, including wearable technology, including posture, including nutrition. So I always get people to come and talk to us about how we can sleep better, how we can rest better. We have education slot. We had one where we took a lady, she was a biophilic interior designer, and she talked about how the bedroom can be a lovely space where we can relax and rest, and where we can feel it's like a cave, and we feel enveloped in kind of darkness, and it enables us to sleep and rest better. And also other things we can do, as Richard kindly mentioned, is smell. Smell is so important as well for those of us who can smell. Not everyone can smell. Or people who can smell, what can we do to improve our sleep? And people always come up to me and say, can I buy your lavender spray? Because lavender spray is the #1 seller. Lavender spray, as well as lavender bags, lavender diffuser. People love lavender, and they tell me it's because they can rest and relax and feel uplifted with such an amazing aroma, because most of us can smell. But those of us who can't smell, and it's been something it's a viral infection, not just COVID, any viral infection, there's smell training. So we can actually train our smell to come back, which is very exciting. And I've worked with different people. The lady took about 2 years to get our smell back, and she actually got it. So my focus is sleeping better. What can we do to improve our rest, relaxation, and sleep? So we talk about the routine, we talk about best practice, we talk about having a protected time of rest. So it could be one of us, that's something that's really important to us, to sleep. So we want to protect that sleep. Say, this is the time I'm going to sleep from 10 to 6. And nothing but an emergency is going to stop that. So I'm going to be in bed resting. And if I can't sleep, I will rest, I will relax. Lots of best practice, including having a cooler bedroom, having different sheets cover us so that we can fling them off if we're too hot, and put them back when we're too cold. Making sure that we have a good routine before, because when we have our babies, we have bed, bottle, we have bottle, bed, rest, and we have different routines. So we have a routine, especially people who have different times that they work, shift work. So routine is really important for us to actually say, we train our brain to expect sleep. We have good bed sleep connection so that we keep everything out of our bed except what's completely necessary. So all these tips are things I want people to actually come on board and take on, because it's important. And then they can come as many times as they need to check up and say, I did this last week, this worked or it hasn't worked. What else can I do? And the reason it's free is because it's accessible to anyone. So I'm hoping you can refer your friends, colleagues, family to talk about sleep. Also, I disseminate information to different people about sleep. So I send emails, I send information into their messages on social media to say, this is what we did. And if you're interested, please come and participate. I wanted to set up conversations around sleep, around rest, around relaxation, so that everyone can feel, oh, I've got somewhere to come if I have any issues, or someone to send. And if people want more details or more products, I can make the products and send it to them. I could quote them, or they can do a workshop, or they can do my sleep in 30 days. So it's rest. I call it rest in 30 days because I can't guarantee sleep. But what I can guarantee is if you rest, you can impact your well-being positively in some way. So sleep is not always possible for us, because sometimes, we may wake up in the middle of the night for any reason, a myriad of reasons. Could be the fox outside, it could be we're too hot. But what we want to do is rest, practice rest. And we know that if we can function during the day, we have sleep success. If we can feel, that we've been rested in the morning, we have sleep success. So I want to be able to point people to, this is how you actually measure your sleep success, and what's your goal, and a tangible goal for sleep success, and how can you be supported by me or other people who are in my network, so that you can sleep well, rest well, and hopefully function better with it. But please remember that if anyone in your network has not been sleeping for, I would say 3 weeks, but the NHS website says 4 weeks, but I would personally say 3 weeks. If someone hasn't been sleeping for 3 weeks, they have to get help. It's one of the things that it's like a flag. If the person has been sleeping for 3 weeks, they need help. They must get help. It's like a priority. It has to be prioritized. If someone can't function during the day and keep falling asleep, they must get help. If someone is very emotionally distraught, they must and have no joy. Please look out for these flags within your network, and remember to get people to get help. Samaritans, 24-hour helpline, the GP, the doctor. Please, that's one of the things that I always have to say, that please, if people I need help in that area, they must get help. And I have I wanted to summarize to say, I've talked about the importance of sleep. I've talked about, not getting sleep, which is very important that we do get sleep. I've talked about finding sleep solutions, and in my sleep clinic is one of the ways. I've talked about, the flags that come up to make sure that we do kind of address them quickly, urgently. And I wanted to mention my Stress to Rest in 30-day course. It takes about 6 weeks, and it's every day, Monday to Friday. And it's a way of people stepping much more into rest and kind of forming a rest kind of habitual behaviors, and doing that forever, hopefully. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm here to enhance well-being naturally. Thank you.